Okay, so we're ready to move on, and she's nice and dry. The last video we did, we framed in where the ladder is coming out. We put in the little area around where the mast is going to go through. We did the capstan, and we did the rear ladder. So that was the completion of part C in the instructions. So I'm going to put her aside, and we're going to take a look at what we're going to do next. So we're going to go on to, let's see, that was part C. We're going to go on to part D of the instruction manual. And that's going to include the bulkheads. So we're going to put the tops of the bulkheads on, because this is what we're going to anchor the top deck to. Speaking of the top deck, we got to plank that section and get it ready. We have to do this section. This is going to go underneath over here, and I actually think this is going to be for the lighting, but I'm not sure yet. This will hide the wires, but we'll see. You know, we got to paint the decks and all these structures. So it's a good thing I didn't stain the ladders and stuff, because we're going to paint it anyway. All that work, and we're just going to throw paint over the deck. Anyway, there's a lot to do. The steps aren't necessarily hard, but there's a lot of preparation. Yeah. So all the pieces are sanded down, and remember, we got to stain also. We need D15, D17s, D18s, and D14. All right, we got the D14s that'll be ready to be stained. We're going to stain them first and then glue them. And then we have the, let's see, D17, 18, and 16. So those are the deck plates. All right, so I think that's everything we need right now off of this tree. Together for the first time. Here we are. All right, so that's going to go like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to stain the bottoms. All right. And we're going to be using the walnut dye. And it doesn't say anything about staining the tops, so we're just going to do the bottoms. I love the way that walnut dye looks with a stain. So I'm going to put these aside as we go along now so they can dry. love how the wood just drinks up the dye. Sure to get the ends. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That's the last one. So now we got to put all these aside to dry. Okay, so talking again about the preparation that we need to do. So this had a little bit of time to dry, and what we need to do is we need to plank the other side, and this is going to go right on the top of the bulkheads that we're going to put on. So let's put this aside, and we're going to prepare the planks. And if you remember, all right, so we cut six strips, so we'll see if that's enough. If not, we'll just cut some more, and we can set the pattern. So we got 6.5, and we'll go 6.5 here, so we can connect it with the square. And let's go another 6.5. Here we are. All right, we're ready to start. So we'll start the long way. We'll do the full 6.5 on the first row of the starter strip. Then we'll alternate in the pattern going all the way up. And again, this is going to be facing forward, and I don't know if we're going to have to plank these two pieces yet. It doesn't really say. So I want to get enough on it where we're going to be able to do the starter strip and the next row. All right, so I think that looks good. We'll be able to run the blade down. So we got the starter strip set. So now we're going to start to alter the pattern. There. See how the pattern is staggered now? And it's important to get the starter strips really squared off, so that everything will be nice and straight. Again, because it's curved, so we've got to follow down. You gotta make sure everything is covered, every little area. to do is we got to cut more planks. There we are. Alright, now what I need to do is we wipe off the extra glue over here. And I need to put plastic on it, and we're going to clamp it. Okay, so while we wait for the planks in the top deck to dry, let's see how the bulkheads are doing. So you can see the bulkhead tops are dry. So we're going to put them in order. And we'll put this right up against the wall and down on top of the other ones. Oh, the other one. And again, we're using the brown. So I'm going to start from the bow and we're going to work our way to the stern. There we are. Like I said, we made the deck planks look all nice, and then we just had to make them look all grungy. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to feather in so there's no brush marks. So just a little bit of feathering. Like I said, though, it helps with making those seams disappear. Okay, so it's starting to dry, looking pretty good. And I think what we can do now is we can actually put the bulkhead tops on. And this is going to go just like this. Nice. I'll make sure it's nice and straight. So that looks pretty cool. And last one. Okay, so we have all the bulkheads. I just glued all of them on. So we're pretty much going to have to wait now until everything cures and everything is dry. And then we'll finish up the section D. What we got to do is we have to put the deck on top, but we still have some work to do to that, and we need to do the deck plates. Okay, so this has some time to dry, and because the clamps, this area was too big for the clamps, so what I did was I put a bunch of books on it, and I weighted it down, and everything got nice and flat. And it takes the Elmer's glue a little bit longer to dry than the OCCRE glue, but it still does a nice job. So what we got to do now is we got to trim all the excess off. So we're going to trim it down. There we are. So we've got the two holes in the, let's see, this would be the back towards the aft end. Then we have the hole for the mast, and we have these three square holes that are around where the well deck is. And I think what we can start doing is I think I'm actually going to start trimming. Here we are. So we got it all nice and trimmed down, and what I did was I sanded it. We cut out the little openings. So now it's ready to move on, and what we got to do is we have to mark it up now. We have to put the little nail marks. This is my pencil sharpener that my wife got me. There. Alright, so we marked up the deck. We put all the little nails in where all the planks meet, because remember, they line up because they're nailed to the top of the bulkheads. So we're ready to sand this down now. So we're going to sand it. so it's all nice and smooth. I mean, it looks a little too good right now because remember, this is not a brand new yacht. Remember, this is not a brand new yacht. This is the deck of the Flying Dutchman. So what we got to do now is we're going to put the varnish on it. But first, we got to clean everything up, and I got to clean it down. So we're going to use a satin varnish. Where's my little cup? There it is. All right. So now we're going to put the satin varnish on. I think we'll start at this end. I'm going to go right up to the edge. There we are. We'll let this sit for a little while, and we'll put this on something. And what's going to happen is all the varnish is going to be soaked in by the wood, and it's going to get a beautiful finish. It's going to bring out the wood grain, and it's going to be ready, because the only thing we got left is to glue these decks now to the top of the bulkheads that we just put in. And that'll complete section D. So let's wait for this to dry, and we'll move on. Okay, so I think we need to put that piece in right over here. And it looks like that's going to go on this side. Alright, so I'm not quite sure what that's going to be for, but we got that clamped into place, and that's going to go underneath. It's going to stay under the bulkheads. So I think what we can do now is we actually have to put the deck plates on. So you can see we got D7 in the back. So let's take a look. Which one is D7 now? Let's go into 2 squares. So I think it's these. You can see where the rear mast is going to go. You know what? I'm going to glue them first. And what that's going to do is it's going to make them solid. And I won't have to worry about that seam as much. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't have to put a ton of glue, just enough to tack weld it. Like so. See, and they go in very nicely, and that goes down to it rests right on the deck, right on the bulkheads. So you guys remember the deck that we stained? Looking pretty good. It's all nice and smooth. We put varnish on it. You can see all the nails. So this is going to go into the ship. Okay, so here's where we're at. The deck, I noticed it's just a little bit tacky. So we're going to hold off on gluing all the decks down because that's actually the last part of the section D of the instructions. So when we continue, we're going to move on to section E, and we'll have the deck plates all put in place, and they'll be glued down and we'll be ready to move on. But I don't want to glue this section down yet, just because it's just a little bit, still a little bit tacky. So my friends, I thank you for watching. Until the next video, I'll talk to you soon.